Alright, YouTube, Not Okay Policing, coming back at you again with another video. Trying to enjoy a cup of Joe. Know it's a little early for a Christmas mug, but here we are. Um, so, with this particular video, I want to predicate it around um, outlining the playbook of a corrupt governing body and what the corrupt governing body will do in pursuit of criminal charges as opposed to civil liability to civil rights violations as pertaining to the Constitution, the supposed superseding law of the land. Um, so the first portion of their playbook is it is crucial for them, the government actor in the form of a law enforcement agency, to um, submit an affidavit, verbally or written, expressing, witnessing a violation. And it doesn't even have to be true, ironically. And they could just speak this instance into existence and require no other evidence or no other verifiable distinction at all whatsoever, especially in a courthouse, because apparently in a courthouse, a sheriff is not required to wear a body cam. So be careful of that. Or at least in my neck of the woods, for some reason or another, they're not wearing body cams. So I'm incredibly fortunate in the particular event that I've experienced because, let's move on. So they'll lie. They will write down that you were causing a disturbance, and they will arrest you and then put you in a dungeon. And whatever methods of torture they choose to employ um, with impunity at that stage. So they will assault you, they will try and hurt you, um, along with taking away your liberty and your freedom. So that's the first cause of action. And the second cause of action would be to present that affidavit in the form of a probable cause affidavit to a judge to solidify the warrantless arrest as justified. And the judge, without any other subject matter or totality of understanding of the events, will take the word of the peace officer or the law enforcement agency's government actor as truth. That could be remedied by simply requiring physical video evidence of the infraction or the violation, the criminal act. But it's not. So at this point, in this day and age of the justice system, they take it. They take the word of the law enforcement agency, government actor, and they run with it. And this is to insulate in my theory of events, this is to insulate the government from any liability, civil litigation, in a response to a remedy for the egregious malfeasant behavior. So that's number two. Number three, the case will be analyzed by a district attorney or a prosecutor, and they will kind of assess whether or not they feel confident in getting a conviction, and then they'll proceed in a rather roundabout way from there, and they'll do so by four methods. There are four possible methods, two of which will likely never happen for you, especially if you were wronged. You could be found not guilty. Again, a prosecutor is not going to do that because they work for the government. They know that opens them up to a civil liability. So they're never going to. I've been told as much. I have it on video that we don't do that here. And then, secondly, with prejudice. If you get the case dismissed with prejudice, that means that the state cannot bring up that charge again, which is very important later if you intend on pursuing civil litigation to seek a remedy for the torture you had experienced and were traumatized by. So, third is their support of, in their interest, in the state's interest, which is a dismissal of the charges in a case where a prosecutor is not convinced that they will be able to get a conviction without prejudice. This means that you will not be allowed to pursue a civil action. One of the prerequisites for pursuing a civil action as it pertains to criminal proceedings is that the criminal proceeding has to be dismissed in the defendant's favor. And without prejudice is not in favor of the defense or the defendant. And the reason why is because at a later date, say for instance, if you choose to pursue a civil lawsuit, they will simply, we're not done here. Without prejudice means that I can come back at you again and bring up those charges again, and we can move forward with that process. Again, you can't move forward in a civil action without a favorable determination in civil court in regards to the criminal proceeding. So they stall it out. And if you were to pursue a civil action in regards to dismissal based on this without prejudice, the case will likely get dismissed as a frivolous case on that basis. And then last but not least is your conviction, which is their most sought after, because that's how the state can turn a profit. That is how they can seek impunity for their actions, because you cannot file a civil action in regards to a conviction. It will be dismissed as frivolous. So I hope that insight is valuable to folks out there. That is the corrupt governing bodies playbook right there in a nutshell. Thank you. Y'all have a great weekend.